Why, hello. You set that whole Bill Maher show up by letting me practice for 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's right. You were in studio with us. It's the only thing I've agreed with Bill Maher on, and I don't know, since 1904, Chris, is that he said Malcolm Nance is a great patriot.
Yes.
You just returned from fighting on the front lines at age 60, ladies and gentlemen, and you were great.
61.
You were great on Bill Maher.
Yeah, it was 61 when in September. So, but it was very good. I enjoyed being on the show, and I thought he was, Bill has always been good to me. He's always been fair, and he generates controversy, and not as much as some of his guests do. You might recall my first show was we battled Milo Yiannopoulos and helped end his career in Larry Wilmore. And then he put me on with Ben Shapiro, the angry chipmunk, to debate critical race theory. And I didn't even know that was the discussion. And it came down to there's no such thing as a critical race theory debate. You're just making it up. He was like, no, you did it. So I like going on that show. I appreciate Bill and them inviting me. And to make me the primary guest to pitch and catch for Ukraine. So,
yeah. Well, I got to say, because sometimes Bill literally does, to me, Republican talking points or Fox News talking points, whether it's about COVID or whatever. So I appreciated that, he obviously respects you as he should and, gave you a platform to tell the real truth about Ukraine, right? I mean, it's just, yeah, go ahead.
I think, we know each other and I've known him for well over 5-6 years now. I've done one show each season. And, when you say, hey, you just came back from fighting in a war, and he was right. Now, in the after party, he did say something. He goes, you like it. That's why you went. And I go, yeah, a little bit. But it's something that, yes, it's something that I'm good at and something I help make the Ukrainians good at. But more importantly, it is about the women and children of Ukraine and defeating these disinformation platforms that come out there. I don't know if you noticed in my Twitter feed, some guy the other day was like ragging on my combat experience in Ukraine. And I said, oh, here's the way you do it. Bet you $10,000 in a live broadcast. Come prove your claims. Disappeared.
Yeah, was this the guy? He said you were LARPing in an active war zone for clout. You're a disgrace. And you said Nance's dictum on Twitter experts. The biggest idiots, cowards, and blowhards on Twitter have mouths inversely proportionate to the size of the manhood, multiplied by expertise, which is equal to the total amount of sex they've had, not involving themselves or a silicone love dolls or zero. Yes,
true. It's just math.
But someone named Jamie tweeted, Russian surveillance drone catches Ukrainian body snatchers in action. Question, why are Ukrainian troops always in such a hurry to evacuate freshly deceased bodies from the front line? Answer, organ harvesting for wealthy Western clients. And you just said you are an idiot. Russia leaves tens of thousands of corpses and Ukraine has to clean up the battlefield. Ukraine removes KIA warriors or victims of aggression with dignity, and you think, ooh, organ harvest, see us shrink, you nutter.
There's, and I encourage everyone who listens to the Stephanie Miller Show. Our biggest failing sometimes as liberals, progressives, defenders of democracy is we want to have a discussion and we want to have a debate. Don't. Okay? Call people out. Call them what they are. If it's stupid, call it stupid. And that's becoming my forte, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, by the way, you said official ruling. Elon Musk is clearly an official witting asset of a Russian dictator. For all his billions, he doesn't seem to understand how the world works. He thinks he's saving the world by sacrificing Ukraine. Because you always answer these questions in your book, Putin's useful idiot or willing partner, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's that whole chain ladder of how you work for Russia. You start off as a useful idiot. Then you go into a fellow traveler, an unwitting asset, a witting asset, and then an agent. And we've done this for Donald Trump, right? He's moved all the way up that chain. Elon Musk really thinks that he's the glass onion genius and that he's saving the world by proposing Ukraine give up 20% of its nation after, what could be as many as 50,000 dead people, dead Ukrainians. And Musk he believes the Kremlin propaganda that if they lose, they're going to nuke the world. Okay, do you know what that means? Nuke the world. I worked at a national nuclear command post. No winners when you launch atomic bombs.
Yep.
Everyone, your children in Russia, your mother, your grandmother, and Musk seems to think this is serious. That he, by turning off parts of Starlink for the Ukrainians and allowing them to lose parts of the battlefield communication structure, that he's saving the world. This is literally the don't look up version of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
Yep.
Lazy villain.
I read this yesterday on the show, and it's so important to talk about again. Steve Schmidt tweeted, I've been saying for almost a year this is an espionage story. Jared Kushner advanced the interests of the Saudis and got paid $2 billion for it. Read my thoughts, too, on the travesty that is LIV Golf. And you said, I said this on Hardball with Chris Matthews in early 2017. Nothing this White House did was for the good of the nation. It was always for money. And I said it yesterday, Malcolm. You always say it first. I have to ask you why. We all know this Hunter Biden story is BS. This is a real story. Jared Kushner actually was involved in our government, right? And it made this amount of money. Why do you and I always talk about this? Alpha liberals. Why do Democrats play different? Let me just get your reaction on this. Some Democrats in the U.S. Senate are complaining that Biden's administration is setting up roadblocks for them as they try to gather more information about Jared Kushner's deal with Saudi Arabia. Senator Ron Wyden said the Biden administration has not been handing over documents that are requested to examine the lucrative deals Kushner has cut with the Saudis since Trump left office. Wyden called the lack of cooperation unacceptable, added that the Biden team has only been slightly more helpful than Trump's own administration in responding to inquiries. I mean, I get trying to be above the fray and, don't go after the families, but Jared and Ivanka were in the government making $600 and something million, right?
Well, yep, absolutely. I mean, they are the definition of nepotism. Yeah. Release the docs. We don't do these campaigns the Republicans do, where they concentrate all of their effort on their constituents, go right to their congressmen, and they, stop the steal and all these ridiculous things. Well, release the Kushner docs. Why don't we do that? Kushner, you know how I feel about this. When I made that statement on Hardball in 2017, it was about Jared Kushner setting up a secret line of communications to Moscow in the Russian embassy in 2016, right after they won.
Yes.
Right? And then I said the entire Trump administration is an espionage act violation in the making. How many hundreds of times has that happened?
Yeah. What happened with Qatar and the blockade and the money he needed to bail out 666? What about how many trademarks Ivanka got? I mean, 600 million they made. Hunter Biden is a private citizen, had nothing to do with running of the government. I mean,
I think a corrupt kids investigation is in order. Ivanka, Jared, Donald Jr., Eric, whoever that crazy chick that dated Newsom, all of them. They're all implicated here. They made money, done. While employees of the United States government, done. Investigate, recover monies, and find out whether they did corruption with official instruments of the United States.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes,
we can't let you go before we ask you about the balloons, because that is the only... The White House said the U.S. intelligence community's leading explanation for the three most recent unidentified objects shot down over North America is they were being used for commercial or benign purposes. So, Malcolm, what's your take? I know we played, which senator was it yesterday, saying that, Representative Crow, that we're getting better at detection, that obviously this isn't new, stuff happening, but what's your take on all of this?
Well, I said this on Meyer. High-altitude weather balloons have been a thing for generations. Yes. You can go buy one of these for a few $100s and put an instrument package into the stratosphere at 100,000 feet, and it'll pass stuff back, a Morse code signal or whatever. And it literally flies on the edge of space. So, but now, because of the outrage, the machine of the Republicans, we got to start zapping everything. But, I think it was a good exercise. The Chinese space balloon which I believe, as I said on Bill Maher, it was a signals intelligence collection package. And the first three times we didn't really notice it because weather balloons are a thing. But after that, this data link kept showing up, more than likely a data link up to a Chinese military satellite, and we were able to start tracking it. But we have that whole package now. We have how they do it. Chinese collection balloons are dead as a platform for the Chinese. So they have just literally ruined an entire collection, a collection resource for their government.
Talk about fighting disinformation, Malcolm. I mean, they missed it 3 times under the Trump administration, right? Failed to detect it entirely.
Creating Space Force when the Air Force should have been doing its job.
Yeah, but I mean, exactly. But that's what I'm saying is, Biden, as you said, again, you were out there first saying they didn't get anything from us. We got all their stuff. We shot it down when it was safe. But we're still going to hear screaming from the right wing.
Of course you are. Crazy Marjorie Taylor Greene, with her 101 Dalmatians coat, said that she was shouting at Congress, at military members.
Yeah.
Why are people not recording that and putting that out there about her? Look, she's BS crazy.
Yeah.
And, what we have to do is we have to make it clear the people who really protect America and those, opportunist politicos out there who are really harming America with their big fat mouths.
By the way,
next they're going to want what? A war?
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned Space Force. What happened to Space Force? Isn't that what that was supposed to be for? So they missed all of this under Trump.
Yeah, but it was a crazy transition. That is a horrible idea. Space Force should just be eliminated and folded back under the U.S. Air Force.
Right.
Everyone will be happy. We won't have this bloated fifth budget. And guess what? You'll still do your day job, but you won't have an entire organization's wall in between you and the rest of the Department of Defense.
Yeah.
When you see a 100-foot, 300 square foot Mylar balloon floating at 100,000 feet.
So Trump,
and then you got to call the Air Force to shoot it down for you.
Right.
How's that?
So Trump administration, big announcement, big military, TV ready, most Space Force, right? It's like him, just a big hot air balloon, did nothing. Okay, Malcolm, thank you. And by the way, if you didn't say it, the Stephanie Miller Show is the show of record. So if you didn't say it here, it didn't happen.
Hey all, Glenn Kushner here. I hope you'll join me on my new audio podcast, Justice Matters. I'll be using my 30 years as a federal prosecutor and Army JAG to unpack, break down, and explain the legal issues of the day, particularly where the legal intersects with the political. Please look for Justice Matters with Glenn Kushner wherever you generally get your podcasts.